Unfiltered.
I'm not sold. I'm sorry.
Unapologetic.
I'm not trying to talk about him.
Unlike anyone else.
But knowing y'all
will probably make me.
This is the Stephen A. Smith Show.
Oh, yeah! What's going on, everybody? Yes, your boy is back on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82. It is an honor and a privilege to debut of the Stephen A. Smith Show. Kick it off right now. Yes, I'm loud, damn it. I know how to cool down when I want to cool down, but I'm excited. I'm excited. And I just want to say before I get into anything, I love everybody. I love everybody, okay? Scott Greenstein. You know, the head of content for Sirius XM. Love you, my man. I appreciate you bringing me back. You know how happy I am to be here. I wanted to thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of the support that you've given me, along with the higher-ups. I love all of y'all. I've been here at Mad Dog Sports Radio before. I worked there for 4 years. I departed in 2017. It's been a long time coming, and I'm happy to be back. And I want to let you know, Mad Dog Russo and the Mad Dog family, Steve, Torrey, on down to my man Sean McChesney and the rest of the crew. Love everybody. I had a blast when I was here last time. I veered away a little bit because, you know, I had some stuff to do on the television side. You understand? I had to do that. I had to get that out the way. And I literally maximized, I think, to my greatest ability, you know, to pull off the things that I pulled off to solidify my future in television. But I never lost my love for radio, not one time. Not one time, because the opportunity to expound and to be extemporaneous and to elaborate extensively on things, nothing gives me that platform more than radio. Nothing, okay? And you know what else, too? Because I know y'all see me and you see me on television, you see me on my YouTube channel, you see me all these other places. Here's the thing with radio. There is no other platform where I'll interact with people even more. There's so many people that want to chirp, that want to run their mouths, that want to get at your boy. Radio affords me that opportunity. And I do know that there's a lot of wonderful millions upon millions of subscribers to Sirius XM across everywhere. Let me just tell y'all, as much as I appreciate y'all, I'm a little bit different. Just a touch in this regard. I will hang up on your ass. Make no mistake about it, I don't play. I'm not going to sit up here, have ignorant callers calling me, telling me somebody going to win the championship when they won 2 games last year. Somebody going to win the NBA championship when ain't nobody thinking about them. Somebody going to win the World Series, you understand, when they can't pitch. I'm not going to listen to stuff like, I'm just not. The same Stephen A. that you've seen. Yes, I've grown, I've aged, gracefully I might add. I've matured, all of those things are true. But I'm still me. I'm going to be me until I go to the grave. That's who I am. Oh, it's who I am. My nephew Josh is listening. He knows. They be placing bets on how long it's going to take me to hang up on some caller. Don't rule it out. Don't want to do that because I love all my listeners. And just because I hang up on you today don't mean I won't listen to you tomorrow. But make no mistake, I'm going to hold you accountable. You're going to call up on this show, you're going to make some damn sense, okay? You're going to make some damn sense, and I want that to be plain and true. And by the way, this is my favorite part. I'm giving out the number because I love when y'all call me. I ain't going to have no guests today. I don't want no guests today. I didn't want any guests. A lot of times I'm not going to want guests. Of course, I've proven over the years I can get guests. And of course, some will be on. But be clear, I like to do the talking. It's the Stephen A. Smith Show for a reason. You understand? And if you got something to say, I'm going to give you the opportunity to say it, especially if you're a caller or a listener. But understand, it's not your show. It's mine. I am back in full effect every weekday from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, leading into Mad Dog Russo. And then Mad Dog Russo comes on from 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then after that, I come back on the re-air of my show, even though sometimes it ain't going to be a re-air because at my discretion, when I feel the necessity, I'm going to come back on live after 6 o'clock. If there's something that goes on between 3 and 6 that I missed or that I want to comment on, I'll come right back on. That's how I roll. That's the way it's always been. That's the way it's going to stay. It's my name on it for a reason. I ain't put my name on it for a reason to hand it to somebody else. So you ain't going to see a lot of subs filling in. I don't do that. Occasionally, sure. Stuff happens. But you expect me, you're going to get me. The number to call up is 888 Mad Dog 6. That's 888 Mad Dog 6. That's 888 623 3646. 888 623 3646. That is the number to call in to the Stephen A. Smith Show. And I even though I keep my singing to the minimum, because I can't sing, I just do it to wake people up or annoy you. It's one of the two. It's to be a human alarm clock or to annoy you. Every now and then I might sing because my sisters love when I do it. They just love what I do. My nieces and nephews, got 15 of them, they love when I do it. My daughters, not so much. They're like, Dad, please stop. Just please stop. You just don't have it. You got to know your lane. But, again, I'm just doing it to have fun. Now let me get into some subject matters that I wanted to touch on because it's one of the things that we obviously are going to do every day here. I was going to start with Bill Belichick and the UNC Tar Heels. But I don't want y'all to throw up. I mean, that performance last night by the University of North Carolina was horrible. Horrible. And here's all you need to know. Two things you need to know. And I'll move on. Because it was that embarrassing. It was that bad. I don't know if my man Michael Jordan is feeling sick today. I don't know if Lawrence Taylor's feeling sick today. Roy Williams, I hope that he's all right. Okay, Mia Hamm decided to show up. My man Randy Moss, it was great to see him. He showed up. I mean, that was bad. And here's the only two things that you need to know about the University of North Carolina's football team under Bill Belichick. In their debut last night in Chapel Hill, they stormed downfield, scored the opening touchdown, went up 7-0, and then proceeded to be outscored 41-0. 41 unanswered points before they scored a touchdown, then gave up another. Ended up losing the game 48-14. That's point number one. Here's the biggest point you need to understand of how pathetic of a performance it was. From 8:12 p.m. last night, Eastern Standard Time, to 10:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That would be 5:12 to 8:20. I'm sorry, to 7:20 West Coast time. 5:12 to 7:20 West Coast time. 8:12 to 10:20 East Coast time. Carolina's offense didn't complete a pass. I'm going to say that again. 2 hours and 8 minutes went by before they completed a pass. Do you know that in football, all you have to do is turn around and throw a screen pass, and that applies as a completion? That's how bad it was for North Carolina. So needless to say, Bill Belichick, people are going to be out there talking about, I guess it was Brady after all, huh? Those 6 championships in New England. You think? But it wasn't just him. I'm not going to disrespect Bill Belichick like that. I know he's a great coach. He's an 8-time champion, 2 as a coordinator, 6 as a head coach. We get all of that. But in the end, it was bad. He's got a long way to go, and it's going to come down to his ability to recruit talent, not just to teach the game, because guess what? TCU had ballers, and UNC did not. Now let me move on to the National Football League because I wanted to get into this Micah Parsons things because I know a lot of people wanted to holler at me about that. Let me get this out of the way. I did an interview with Jerry Jones a little over a week ago at the Star in Big D, at which time he just basically broke down why there was friction and there was this whole brouhaha about how he hadn't signed Micah Parsons. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because even though it's done now, Micah Parsons is in Green Bay, I'm not Mad Dog Russo. You understand? I'm not him. I love him. That's my dude. All right? But we disagree a lot. He thinks I'm nuts, and I think he's off his rocker. You understand? I think that there's something missing with him half the time. And you're going to see a lot of times when that man says something on the air, and I either come back on after or I come back on the next morning and I remind y'all about the drivel coming out of his mouth. Because that man is absolutely insane sometimes. I love him. Love him to death. But Mad Dog Russo is on a different level. I mean, it's just not all there. And by the way, for those of y'all that are going to get offended by some of the things that I say, bump y'all. I want to hear what you got to say. You know why? Because I have approval from his wife, the wonderful Mrs. Mad Dog, Jeannie herself. You understand? Who I adore and adores me. I have permission to get at him. So says she. So as long as I got permission from the wife, we good. We good. I got permission from Mrs. Mad Dog to get on him anytime I want. So let's get that out the way. Here's the issue with Micah Parsons and Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones says Micah Parsons reached out, wanted to talk about a contract negotiation. They met with one another, as Jerry Jones tends to do throughout his life, because he talks about eye to eye, face to face, handshakes, etc., and supposedly, purportedly, they reached an agreement. And then ultimately the agent got involved, and Micah Parsons called him back and said, "Don't call me anymore, call my agent." And Jerry Jones' exact words were, "I don't play that shit." Those were his words to me. Now, somebody like Doggy is of the mindset that it's not a contract. Since you signed a contract, you're under contract. Where you going? There's nothing you can do about it. David Mulugheta, the agent extraordinaire, recognized by Forbes as the most powerful agent in the National Football League, who happens to be a black man, was like, nah, they ain't going down like that. We ain't having that. And he held firm to his position, and boom, before you know it, Micah signs a 4-year, $188 million extension after Jerry Jones was coaxed into trading him, because ultimately Jerry Jones said, let him walk. To me, it was idiotic on the part of Jerry Jones, because Micah Parsons is one of the best defensive players in the National Football League. The brother's only 26 years of age. He's got a decade in this business left in him. His speed, his power, his ability to get at the quarterback, it cannot be denied. Could he be better against the run? Absolutely. Did he play a role in Dallas losing those playoff games that they lost? Sure. Nobody is absolved from that. Culpability is spread around. But in the end, unlike what the mad dogs of the world will tell you, I'm going to tell you something different. And here's what I'm going to tell you. As I told Jerry Jones, sir, you're 82 years old. You're going on 83. You've been negotiating contracts on an elite level before Micah Parsons was born. You know good and damn well some 25-year-old at the time, because he turned 26 in May, some 25-year-old at the time is in no position to go to negotiate against you. And you also know that most people don't represent themselves because they can't, because it wouldn't be wise, as most people in business would tell you. I'm 57. I know I don't look it. Thank you very much. But I am. I'm 57. And I know a thing or two about business. But you roll up on me, the names are Mark Shapiro and John Rhodes. You're going to have to holler at them. I don't want to talk about my negotiations directly. All the nooks and crannies that come with it, they handle that. David Mulugheta handles that for Micah Parsons. By the way, David Mulugheta represents George Pickens, wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys, recently acquired from the Pittsburgh Steelers. So you're going to have to deal with him at some point, in all likelihood. And considering how elite this agent is and how many clients he has, along with his partners, you're going to have to deal with him. But Jerry didn't want to do that. Jerry didn't want to do that. Now, before I go any further, I did speak to David Mulugheta today, the agent that represents Micah Parsons. He was on my ESPN show on First Take this morning, and he had a lot to say. To my producer, Sean, take it away. Play me talking to David Mulugheta earlier this morning. Please play the sound. Was Jerry Jones accurate when he said that he offered to make Micah the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history? Was he honest when he said that?
So that's a loaded question, right? So from an APY standpoint, if you're just looking at the average that was offered to him, I believe it was 40.5 was the offer, which would have made him at the time, from an APY standpoint, the highest paid. That being said, the way the cash flow was structured over his first 3 new years, he would not be paid as the highest paid player in the NFL. So again, that's why I say the devil's in the details. And another important part of the contract was a 4-year deal versus a 5-year deal, right? When you look at that 5th new year could be the difference in $30 to $40 million for the player. You know, if you look at where the pass rusher market was a year ago, it was at $35 million or so with Nick Bosa. Now it's at $47 million in 1 year with Micah Parsons. So 4 years from now, what do you think that number is? It's probably closer to $65, $70 million a year. And if we lock in that fifth year currently at $40 million, just that year alone is worth an additional $30 million to Micah, if not more. And that's not even counting the raise that he got for the next 4 years, or the fact that the Packers were good enough to us that they gave us the fifth year option as a linebacker this year as opposed to a DN. So that's an additional $3 million. So, the difference between those two deals you're looking at could be possibly, $60, $70 million when it's all said and done.
Devil's in the details, ladies and gentlemen. Devil's in the details. Now, I love me some Jerry Jones. Why? Because I know stuff behind the scenes that he's done for a plethora of people, many people. Go to the Star. Go inside Dallas Cowboys facilities. What he's done for players, what he's done for ex-players, what he's done for their families. Jerry's a good man. I know I like to troll him. I like to have fun at Dallas Cowboy fans' expense because it's the fans' expense, because I do consider the Dallas Cowboy fan base the most nauseating, disgusting fan base in American history. I stand by that. But it's all in fun. I love trolling them just like they love trolling me when they win every now and then. As long as they don't win the damn Super Bowl, I'm good. I'm 29-0 over the last 29 years. And I'm going to be 30-0 because ain't no way in hell they win the Super Bowl this year. So I'm good. I'm good. But I'm just saying, got love for Jerry Jones, but he was wrong here. Because in the end, what it comes down to is that that compared to you, this is a kid when it comes to negotiations. He's a grown man. He's a young man. I get that. But when it comes to negotiations, he has a representation for a reason. And to try to circumvent that, I just thought was fool's gold. I thought it was foolhardy, and I think the NFLPA is going to have something to say about that. But nevertheless, David Mulligetta said more, alluding to false info being out there to the media. Listen to what he had to say here.
I think the most important thing is that Micah wanted to be a Cowboy, right? He grew up cheering for the Cowboys, wore the blue and white at Penn State, wore it in the NFL with the Dallas Cowboys. He wanted to be a Cowboy. And we did everything we could for him to remain a Cowboy. We reached out, and like you said, I don't really do these interviews. We try to keep the negotiations out of the media. But in this case, so much information has been put out there that we wanted to just address a couple of things. But as far as Michael is concerned, he wanted to be a Cowboy. We did everything we could. And sometimes you got to be a little careful with what you read in the media as far as what was offered to Micah, the guarantees that were offered, the APY that was offered. There's so much that goes into an NFL contract. If you look at many of these contracts that the Cowboys have done over the past few years and the recent ones, the guarantees don't stretch much further than the first new year. If you look at Micah's current deal, he has guarantees into 4 years from now. So again, there are certain things that have been put out in the media to make it look as though Micah turned down a fair or a great deal, but that's simply not the case.
Did you hear that, doggy? Did you hear it? I hope you heard it. I hope you were sitting down listening and you heard that, because I know what I just heard. Okay? Everything that, dog, you know what doggy's going to say? Take it easy, take it easy. That's what he's going to do. He's going to talk to you about, he's a contract. Well, excuse me, this is National Football League. Contracts get restructured all the time. Owners come to you to take pay cuts. They come to you to restructure. They come to you to roll back whatever commitment they made to you because their level of production didn't match up. So in the NFL, more so than the NBA, more so than Major League Baseball, more so than other sports, you damn right a player has a right to go to ownership and say, excuse me, my rookie wage last year, my rookie deal is up. What's up? Oh, I outperformed this contract. Like Anderson said. And he said, yo, what are we going to do in Cincinnati? You got it right. You had 35 sacks over the last 2 years, 4.5 more than anybody else. Even though the defense was putrid, the fact of the matter is they'd be considerably worse if it wasn't for him. So you got all of that going on. You got to pay attention to all of that stuff. But you got a lot of fogies out there. I ain't going to call them old fogies because doggy's in his 60s with the energy of somebody in their 20s. But the point is, you got that curmudgeon mentality. Nah, it ain't just about the contract. It's about the principle. Micah Parsons had his. Jerry Jones obviously has his. And one of them came and alluded to the power dynamic that exists between the owner and the 25-year-old. Listen to David Mulligetta talk about that. Jerry Jones is of the mindset that there was a negotiation that took place between him and Micah Parsons, and then he gets a call from Micah Parsons, and Micah Parsons ultimately calls him back and says, don't call me anymore, call my agent. After an agreement was reached, you guys appear to be diametrically opposed in terms of your interpretation of what transpired. Break down for the audience exactly what transpired. What was Micah Parsons talking to Jerry Jones about?
What actually happened that had Jerry Jones get to a point where he believed the negotiation was completed before somebody like yourself got in the way, per se?
Definitely. As far as Micah's concerned, he was out of the country. He got a call from Jerry's assistant and was asked to come in to meet about leadership. So when he got back from his vacation, he came in and he gave them a call, told him he was back, he was ready to meet. At some point during that meeting that was represented to him was going to be about leadership, it turned into contract talk. And, if you're a 25-year-old football player and your boss, who happens to be the most powerful person in the NFL, starts talking about contracts, it's hard for you to end that conversation. So they had a conversation. Micah nodded his head out of respect. Obviously, there's a power dynamic that's a little different there. One guy is the owner of the team and the GM, and the other one is Micah Parsons, a young 25-year-old football player. So I'm not sure if there was a miscommunication there by the time Micah walked out, but at no point did Micah believe that he was negotiating a contract.
There you have it. 888 Mad Dog 6 is the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646. This is the debut of the Stephen A. Smith Show in the house coming at you. I got more to say, especially about Dallas Cowboys when it comes to Dak Prescott and what they're going to do without Micah Parsons now. Got a Thursday night game coming between the Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys that everybody's fixated on. I'm more fixated on Buffalo and Baltimore personally. I'm a little bit more fixated on Minnesota and Chicago, to be honest with you, because I don't see Dallas giving Philadelphia much of a contest Thursday night. But that's just me. That's just me. 888 Mad Dog 6 is the number to call. It's 888-623-3646. Your boy is back.
This is the Stephen A. Smith Show on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Think you have what it takes to debate Stephen A? Call the show at 888-MAD-DOG-6. Here's Stephen A. Smith.
The debut of the Stephen A. Smith Show in the house. Number to call up is 888-MAD-DOG-6. That's 888-MAD-DOG-6. That's 888-623-3646. But before I get to the call, there's a couple of things I want to throw out to y'all, because there's a couple of things that's on my mind. You see, Dak Prescott gets on my damn nerves. I just can't deny it. I can't, okay? Because you see, when he came out, in the aftermath of Micah Parsons being traded, I'm glad it's over, because he's been frustrated. I mean, really? Really? Why couldn't you emulate Joe Burrow? Why couldn't you do that? You certainly can't do it on the field during the playoffs. Why couldn't you do it? Why couldn't you do it? Why couldn't you be that dude that said, yo, I know we missed the playoffs the last couple of years, but our offense is elite. I need Jamar Chase. I need T. Higgins. Get him signed. Oh, by the way, Trey Hendrickson, make sure you get him signed too. What the Cincinnati Bengals went out to do? They went out and did it because they know that man got to be happy. Now, Dak Prescott is 30 games over 500 during the regular season. You win enough games during the regular season to make things happen. You're not a scrub. You're good enough to get the team to the playoffs. You might nosedive when you get there, but prior to getting there, you certainly know how to do that. How come you couldn't speak up on behalf of Micah Parsons? See, we don't ask these questions. Somebody like Dougie don't ask these questions. Okay, but I'm going to. You understand? I'm not the anti-Dougie, but I am. That's why the channel gonna sizzle, because we got opposite points of view. That brother, something wrong with him. I say that affectionately because I love my man. I just treated him to dinner in Beverly Hills a few weeks ago. I love Dougie, but something wrong with him. Something wrong with him sometimes. Okay? I'm looking at Dak Prescott, and then I'm looking at the Dallas Cowboys from last season. 27th in the NFL in rush offense, 29 in rush defense. Problems on both sides of the ball. Call yourself doing something right because you go out and you get Javonte Williams from Denver for $3 million rather than sign Rico Dowdle the $6 million for the 1 year he got from Carolina. I'm just looking at this stuff. Dallas was an elite pass rushing team led by Micah Parsons. We all know he's not a great run stopper. We got that part. But according to Pro Football Focus, graded newly acquired defensive tackle Kenny Clark's run defense as 83rd out of 219 interior defensive linemen, which is basically in the middle. And oh, by the way, Matt Eberflus, former head coach for the Chicago Bears, he's replacing Mike Zimmer as your defensive coordinator. I'm supposed to be excited about this? I mean, not me personally. I'm talking about Cowboy fans. Really? I got the Cowboys in third place in the NFC East. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not sleeping on the possibility that the Giants might knock them to fourth place. if this cat Abdul Carter is as advertised, we know what neighbors could do. Jackson Dart eventually got to get up in there. Love what I've seen from that brother during the preseason. We gonna see. Dallas might end up in last place. Even with Dak Prescott, with CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. It might happen because their defense might be straight trash. Or they might be better, but Dak Prescott might throw a bunch of interceptions. We just don't know. And that's assuming he's available. Isn't it interesting, y'all, the first 4 years of Dak Prescott's career, he ain't missed a damn game en route to earning $4.9 million. Ever since then, over the last 5 years, the brother has made, or inked deals rather, for over $270 million, and he's missed over 30% of his game. Over 30%, I'm sorry. I'm just saying, y'all, we got to point this out. Nobody's backing up. 888 Mad Dog 6 is the number to call. That's 888-623-3646. I'm trying a new device here where I'm getting to the phones. Rather than leaving it to the producers, I'm picking it myself. Let's go to David in Maryland. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, David? How are you?
I'm doing great, and let's just remember, I will always have the moniker of being the first caller to welcome you back to Channel 82. That'll never be taken away from me. I was going to ask you a Jerry Jones question, but since you've talked about the Cowboys a little bit, I'd like to change my question.
Okay.
Stephen, I have talked to everybody at Channel 82, and nobody will give me the correct answer. Maybe you will. I'm in my car from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. in and out, and I only listen to 82. Why do I have to listen to the replay? What do I do from 6 to 8 if I already heard you from 1 to 3?
I just finished telling you. Didn't you listen to me, David? At the beginning, I said to you, whether it's breaking news, whether it's something else that's on my mind because of what comes out of Doggy's mouth, whatever is percolating between 3 and 6, if I feel the need to come back, I will come back. My brother, I'm not lazy. I'm not bragging anything. I leave, labels, he's great, he's this, he's that to other people. But the one thing that I will wear as a badge of honor is that I work my ass off. I ain't lazy. And it doesn't matter to me what I've done, what obligations that I have. This is my show. And when I feel compelled to come back on because there's something that transpired from when I got off the air at 3 o'clock to when 6 o'clock rolls around, I will come back on the air live. That's how I roll. Now, I ain't telling you this every day now. I ain't making that promise to you. But I'm telling you right now, you know and I know. There's different perspectives that you want to hear. There's a whole bunch of talent on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Keep listening. All over Sirius XM, I might add. But in the end, I'm one of those people again. And I'm telling you, I'm going to be around. It's 1 to 3. It's 6 to 8. It's shows in between. You might hear me. You might turn on the NBA channel. You might hear me because I'm a guest on one of their shows or the NFL channel or Mad Dog in another show. I might be on with Mad Dog as a guest sometime. You never know with me, David, because I work my ass off. And proudly so. So don't worry about that. That would be my response to that question.
I'm going to take you at your word, Stephen, and I'm also going to X you a list of all the regular callers.
I don't need a list of all the regular callers. I don't flow with that. My issue is that I want people calling from all over the country. I'm here all the time. I'm not running. I love taking calls. Doesn't bother me at all. And if I get annoyed, I'll hang up on somebody. I don't give a damn. That's who I am, David. All right? I got to go. Got to get to some other callers, but I appreciate you, man. Thank you for calling on to the show, the Stephen A. Smith Show, the debut of the Stephen A. Smith Show. David in Maryland, our first caller. Greg in Michigan. What you got going on, bro? How you doing?
Oh, my God, Stephen, it's an honor to speak to you. Hey, I'm known as Mr. Positive. I love your political stance. I love you with my buddy Chris Cuomo. And I've been on his show, Mr. Positive.
Thank you.
And I got to tell you, you are the best. Everybody should know that politically you are spot on. You know what you're talking about. I'm so proud of you. But I got to ask you.
Yes, sir.
Oh, you're very welcome. Detroit Lions are supposed to hopefully win the NFC North. Hopefully you agree. But because of what Micah Parsons coming to Green Bay. Is Detroit going to have a tough time to be the number one in the NFC? Oh, my God, brother, I love you. Everybody go for your dreams. What do you say, my friend?
Greg, let me tell you something right now. First of all, I appreciate the love. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. That's very kind of you to say, and I really appreciate it. So let me get that out the way. Secondly, I think a lot of people are sleeping on the Detroit Lions. I think the Detroit Lions could win it all. I believe in Dan Campbell. I'm a fan, okay? But when you talk about Gibbs and Montgomery out of the backfield, when you talk about Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams as wideouts, you're talking about 1,000-yard producers from all four of them. 2 in the backfield, 2 as wideouts, okay? We ain't even bring up Laporta, and now he's coming back from his injury. I'm just looking at Detroit right now. I know you lost both coordinators. All right, and Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn in Chicago and New York, respectively. I get that part. But I just believe in Dan Campbell. And I don't believe that Detroit can be underestimated. Here's where it gets tricky, though. I know injuries played a pivotal role in Washington knocking them out of the playoffs last year. Here's the flip side. Green Bay is no joke. And at some point in time, you're looking at Jordan Love in Green Bay, and you're saying this. You got to have love for Love in terms of his talent. Now, he got to show up consistently in the postseason. You can't wet the bed the way that you did against Philadelphia last year, okay? You got to show up. But the flip side to it is that he has the potential to do so. You don't look at him and say there's lacking. He can't scramble. He can't grow out of the pocket. He doesn't have a pocket presence. He doesn't have a feel for it. He can't make the requisite throws. He doesn't go through his progressions quick enough. The brother can ball. Jordan Love can ball. And their offense was expecting big things, Greg. So here's the other side. You added Micah Parsons to that defense. That's a big deal. So right now, I would tell you it's a toss-up between Green Bay and Detroit as to who wins the NFC North. I'm not sleeping on Detroit at all, nor should anybody else. But we can't ordain them as the NFC North champions when Green Bay is in the same division. Just can't do it. Not right now. All right? Appreciate it, Greg. Thank you so much. Let's go to Ramsey in California. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Ramsey?
Good morning, Stephen A. Just glad, first and foremost, glad you're back on the air. You and I have talked before when you had your previous show approximately about 10 years ago. And as you said, how life has evolved, my life has evolved too. I'm now a part of the media myself here in the local Sacramento area.
Excuse me?
I understand what Sean's going through.
In terms of what? What do you mean you understand what he's going through? In terms of what?
I'm a part-time producer myself.
Okay, there you go.
Well, so I know what he's going through. But one thing I did want to say, you were talking about some of the NFL scheduled games. There's some games I'm looking forward to myself. One you listed was Monday Night Football. I want to see the Tampa Bay against the Falcons, and I want to see the Raiders go into Foxborough and hopefully find a way to pull out a victory.
Yeah, stop.
Okay.
Ramsey, Caleb Williams, J.J. McCarthy, the intrigue with Minnesota, moving on, from Sam Darnold, even though he threw 35 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. I get all of that. All right? Buffalo, Baltimore, we get that. Philly, Dallas, we get that. Raiders, New England, you looking forward to that? I mean, the NFL's the NFL. Please don't get me wrong. You really, really are intrigued with that matchup? Huh?
The Raiders, I'm intrigued with the Raiders because I feel at tops they can get to 10 wins this year with what they have available.
Okay. And what do you feel they have available? Because Geno Smith's their quarterback and Pete Carroll's their head coach now?
Yeah, and you got Ashton Genty, you got Brock Bowers. I think Jack Besh is, if we all know his story, is playing for a higher power. The rookie Dante Thornton they got is a speed receiver. Okay. And I think the defense has improved starting with Max Crosby.
Well, first of all, of course, Max Crosby, that's why he got his money. He deserved his bag, so props to him as well. But the point is that we all know Pete Carroll could coach. The question is going to be, how much do you believe in Geno? I think that's the question. But I got to run right now. We'll talk about that. Feel free to call back, my man, and thank you so much. Let's go to Tim in North Carolina. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Tim?
What up, Stephen A., baby?
What up?
Check it out. I'm Bronco Pride, Fayetteville State till I die. You know what I'm saying? That Bronco Pride. But my daughter, she wants to go to WSSU, baby. So I'm the class of 1990. I think it's about your time, too. So check it out, Stephen A.
I feel you. I love that. I love that choice by your daughter. Congrats.
Yeah. So she wants to be a pediatrician, but somehow, Stephen A., she's smart as a whip. But for some reason, she wants to go to WSSU. So I want you to tell me what's so special about WSSU that she don't want to go to Carolina, she don't want to go to my Miami Hurricanes, she don't want to go to Fayetteville State. She want to go to WSSU.
Well, because Stephen A. went there, baby. What else you need to know? I mean, you understand what I'm saying? It's a successful tree. That's what it's all about. That's what it counts, man. That's what it counts. She don't need no other excuse other than that. We're going to take care of that. HBCUs, all about that. No doubt about it. Historically black colleges and universities. I'm the ambassador for HBCU Week. Ashley Christopher does a phenomenal job running that foundation. I got nothing but love for her. Major props to her. Now let's get to your football point real quick because I got to go to commercial. Go ahead.
My football point, Stephen, I'm a huge Miami Hurricanes fan. So tell Paul Feinbaum the SEC is done. Everybody can get the big boys now. So get off the SEC and let him know it's a even till SEC stand down.
I appreciate the call, man. Thank you so much. You might have a point there because right now, I mean, we gotta wait till we see from Georgia, Ole Miss teams like that. But we just saw Texas lose to Ohio State. Obviously, Alabama ain't what it used to be. Kalen DeBoer, don't get me started. Matter of fact, I'm gonna take a break before I get back to him because I'm just so annoyed with what the hell I'm seeing going on in Tuscaloosa. I'm about to lose my mind. But I'll keep composed because we got bills to pay. 888 Mad Dog 6 is the number. Call it 888-623-3646. You're listening to the debut of the Stephen A. Smith Show. Back with more of your calls in Alabama in a minute.
Back to the Stephen A. Smith Show on Mad Dog Sports Radio.
You know, there's one thing that got on my damn nerves this weekend. It was what I saw take place in Tallahassee, Florida. It was what I saw take place at Doak Campbell Stadium, Florida State versus Alabama. Now, I want to emphasize this because this kid, Tommy Castellanos, the quarterback for the Florida State Seminoles, who used to be at Boston College, brother special. This brother can make things happen. We cannot ignore that. This brother can make some things happen. And you know what? You can win games. You can lose some games. It happens. We get all of that. But something different is going on. There's a metamorphosis that's taking place. There's an evolution that's taking place. And it's not in a good way with the Alabama Crimson Tide. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say it. I'm not saying what they are because it's a long season. I'm saying what they looked like. They looked soft. They got beat up at the line of scrimmage of both the offensive and the defensive line of scrimmage. Before the game, some dude that was quarterbacking at Boston College transfers to Florida State, and before this dude had a chance to pass gas and act like it was perfume, he goes before the media and says, I just don't see how they can stop me. He's talking about Alabama. I don't see how they can stop me. That's what he said. You know what else he said, ladies and gentlemen? He said Nick Saban can't save them. Oh, damn. Damn. That hurt. In football, that's fighting words. And we heard Alabama saying, we're going to deal with that. We're going to deal with that. We'll see. And then proceeded to go out there and get their ass kicked. Because it was an ass kicking. It was. This dude, Ty Simpson or whatever. Wish him nothing but the best and try to be nice to the college kids, the kids. But, I mean, come on. Come on. This cat went out there and ran roughshod all of this cat saw Chuck carried 6 different people into the end zone. You don't see that happening to Alabama. And I'm pointing the finger right at Kalen DeBoer and whoever hired them. Because you know if they let him go right now, right, they owe him $63 million, right? $63 million. $63 million. That's what they owe him. $63 million.
If you fired him to go away, what the hell you offer him that kind of contract for? What did he do at Washington? I know the man has won everywhere he's gone, but it ain't like he won a national championship. They did get bum rushed by Michigan in the national title game a couple of years ago. Why he getting that kind of paper for? Guaranteed in the event that they want him up out of there. Fire the person who made that damn investment in him. That's what I do. They soft. They looked soft. This is an SEC team. Ladies and gentlemen, when you're in the SEC, understand this is South. The South. You need them meat and potato brothers. You need them brothers eating hogs for breakfast. That's what you need. You need them cats with calves as big as both the people's thighs. You need them tree trunks for dudes protecting your quarterback and paving holes for your running game. That ain't happened. And for the first time in 23 years, Alabama lost the season opener. And oh, by the way, against top-ranked competition, like top 10, you know Caleb DeBoer's record is like 6-4? 6-4. Why do I bring that up? Because in 18 years, do you know what Nick Saban's record was? 124-4. Alabama's going in the wrong direction. I don't want to hear no more roll tide. Roll tide. Nope. No more. Don't believe in them. Don't believe in them. They lost to Vanderbilt last year. They scored 3 points in a loss to Oklahoma last year. They lost some bowl game, whose name I can't even remember, to Michigan. They ain't just losing to ranked teams. This is not good. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Y'all call me crazy. I'd beg Nick Saban to come back. I'd pray for divine intervention and I'd beg for him to come back. It's hard to watch, y'all. It's hard to watch. Let's go back to the phones. 888 Mad Dog 6. That's 888-623-3646. Let's go to Rob in South Carolina. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Rob? How are you?
What's up, Stephen A? How are you? Welcome back.
Talk to me, man. Talk to me, bro. How you doing?
Listen, man, I've been listening to Doggy a little bit longer, but I do know just almost as long. When I was in Philadelphia Drexel, there was this columnist writing for the Inquirer named Stephen A. Smith.
That'd be me.
And not so many people. That's when I first knew of you. Reading your NBA beat. I think you covered the Sixers at the time. Yeah. Working with the likes of the Smallwoods, Bill Lyons, Domowiches.
John Smallwood, Bill Lyons, Bob Ford, Phil Rishat, Phil Jasner.
Did you work with Anastasia too?
And others. All of these guys, I love them. I owe a lot to them. Robert Rosenthal was running the Philadelphia Inquirer. Phil Dixon was his deputy editor. There's a whole bunch of people that I owe a lot of gratitude. The great Asa Moore, God rest his soul. The great Mike Bruton and others. I mean, all of these cats were good to me. A lot of people look at my television career, they act like I just came here running my mouth. They don't understand my journalism background spanning 30-plus years, but that's their damn problem. The people who need to know.
There you go. Yeah, well, listen, you were in Philly. I was there, listen, at college at Drexel, it was like the hotbed of basketball then. Yep. You had like the Jerome Allens and
I got you.
Eddie McKee. Oh, man, those teams at Temple.
I got you. I'm going to rush you and help you make your point because I ain't going to let you stay along with all of this stuff. But go ahead.
All right, fair enough. My point about Jerry, diehard Eagle fan. By the way, don't ever stop trolling them. That's one of my favorite things. But you know what? I agree with you. But, one thing that you didn't mention, his ego got in the way here. This guy's a great businessman. This guy's a phenomenal businessman. He blew it. He let his temper get to him.
Yeah, no question. And listen, and where it can't be escaped and where it's so bad is that, and I love Jerry. I've always said that to people. I mean, I know so much good that he's done for so many people. But in all seriousness, what really disturbs me and bothers me to no end is that you're going off of a conversation that you had with a 25-year-old who you knew you had absolutely positively no business trying to negotiate against.
You shouldn't have done that. He has representation for a reason. And to not want to deal with his representation, to me, was incredibly alarming, which is why I brought David Mulugeta on to First Take on ESPN this morning, because I wanted the world to hear his version and his interpretation of what has transpired, because I think it's only fair to do that. And then if you're Jerry, all right, you know what? Just admit it. I overpaid Dak Prescott. CeeDee Lamb cost a lot of money. I don't want to tie up over $200 million and damn near 50% of my cap in 4 different players. So I think it's best that we move on and get additional assets. That's no problem. The problem is when you get 2 first-round picks that are going to be late-round picks, because Green Bay ain't going to be some scrub. This ain't the draft lottery like the NBA where ping-pong balls can end up giving the Dallas Mavericks Cooper Flagg the number 1 pick in the draft. This ain't that. This is the National Football League. When you suck, you end up getting the first overall pick, unless those rights belong to somebody else. Green Bay is going to have 2 late first-round picks. And this guy, Kenny Clark, how does that equate to Micah Parsons? It does not. And that is the problem. There's no excuse for it to end up this way. That is really, really, really problematic, and there's no way around it. Appreciate the call, man. Got to get on out of here. Let's go to Ronald in New York City. You're live with Stephen A. on the debut of the Stephen A. Smith Show. What's up, Ron? How are you?
Stephen A., welcome back, my buddy. Welcome back.
Appreciate
I used to talk
you, bro.
to you years ago, man, when you had
Well,
your
you back
radio
talking
show.
to me now. You back talking to me now.
I was in Atlanta back in the day, but look here. Way back in the day, we used to talk all the time. But look here.
Yep.
Several things I want to mess around and say. Jerry Jones.
Make it quick because you only got a couple minutes. Go ahead.
Let me just say this. Unfiltered. I guess this show was unfiltered. I'm going to say this. The Dallas Cowboys, and I've been a Dallas Cowboy follower since I was a kid, they will not be anything until the slave mentality of that owner is gone. Period. While I sit back and I listen to your show on First Take and I listen to the herd, everyone kind of wants to beat around the bush instead of come on out and tell the truth.
Stop right there. Stop right there. Stop. Let me tell you why I don't want to go there. It ain't because I'm afraid to. I'm a black man. And if somebody's got a plantation or a slave mentality, I'll call it like that. And I do understand how taken aback people were when Jerry said what he said about there's me, there's the player, and the agent is about a mile down the road, blah, 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 bringing up, the father going, the kid going to the mama and then going to the daddy and then going to the mom. Brought all of this other stuff. And I know it's riled people up. But here's the problem. Jerry Jones took 30 years to let Jimmy Johnson in the Ring of Honor. There are plenty of white folks who would have a problem with Jerry Jones because Jerry Jones let his pride get in the way. It ain't just black folks. So we can't go there. Now, if he only did it to black folks, you'd have a point. But Jerry is a billionaire who believes in getting his way and then believes in a certain way to do business. And if he don't like it, then damn it, that's the way it's going to be. And it don't matter what ethnicity you are. And if we going to bring up ethnicity when it comes to him in the negative, then we got to also bring it up with the positive, because I personally know numerous brothers. This man has gone out of his way to protect, to cover, to provide for, to look out for, to help ascend along the way. So, again, he's not perfect. And when he deserves to be insulted, I don't hesitate to insult him. I don't criticize him. He knows it. I know it. But we're going to be fair to the man now in that regard. I think this Micah Parsons trade was foolish. You don't lose this man. As far as I'm concerned, I'd have paid Micah before I paid Dak Prescott. I ain't lying to you. That's what I would have done. Okay? And I've said that before. But in the end, things happen for a reason. But what we can't do is sit here and bring up race and plantation mentality and all of this other stuff. Billionaires do think differently. People criticize James Dolan for the New York Knicks all the time. And I never hesitate to. But I know plenty of brothers that James Dolan has helped. Fair is fair. Fair is fair.
Unfiltered.
I'm sorry.
Unapologetic.
I'm not trying to talk about him.
Unlike anyone else.
But knowing y'all
will probably make me. This is the Stephen A. Smith Show.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to hour number 2 of the debut of the Stephen A. Smith Show right here over the airwaves of Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. The number to call up as always is 888 Mad Dog 6. That's 888-623-3646. 888 Mad Dog 6. It is my honor and privilege to be back over the airwaves of Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. I worked here for about 4 years, from about 2013 to 2017. I had the time of my life doing what I do. Of course, I'm incredibly happy being at ESPN with my day job. First Take's been the number one show for 13 years in the morning, number one show in the morning, and I hope that will continue. If it wasn't for all of y'all's support, not only would I not be there, I wouldn't be here, back where I belong on Sirius XM Radio. Radio is an incredibly powerful tool that is not to be underestimated. I know we see the advent of podcasts and YouTube shows and all of this stuff, and everything has its place. But when you're doing a radio show, you get an opportunity to touch on things live in the moment, but most importantly, to communicate with you. My first show, I wanted to make sure I didn't have guests. One of the luxuries that I have based off of what I've been blessed and fortunate enough to accomplish in my career is that I'm not somebody that's devoid of guests. I'm not somebody that's averse to getting guests. That's always been a part of what I've been able to accomplish throughout my career. I've been blessed to be able to do that. And certainly in the days and the weeks to come on this show, you will see more of that in the future. Next week, I'll be in Las Vegas for the fight of the year, if not the fight of the decade, between Terrence Crawford and Saul Canelo Alvarez, which is going to be a major, major, major fight. I expect to have both fighters on this show. I expect to have Dana White, who in concert with Nick Khan for the WWE is putting this fight together. I'm looking forward to having them all on this show. And I'll be live from Vegas late next week as well, just for that fight. Sirius XM will be in the house with the Stephen A. Smith Show. So I just want to give y'all a taste of all of that. I just want to let y'all know that, of course, me being here, having this show today without guests, because I want to talk to y'all. I want it to be me and my listeners. I want everybody to know this is how I roll. I'm not somebody that doesn't go to games. I'm not somebody that's scared to talk to people. I'm not somebody that's scared to listen to people and to listen to callers get at me and listeners get at me. I love that stuff, right? I will hang up on your ass from time to time. Make no mistake about that. I will do it. I will not hesitate. But it's all in fun. It's nothing malicious or anything like that. Like, for example, if somebody called me and said to me, yo, Stephen A., let me tell you this right now. I'm going to get this out the way. We going to understand this right now. The Atlanta Hawks are going to win the NBA championship. I'm going to go like, have a nice day. Goodbye. Click. So my nephew can win some money because they're always betting on how long it's going to take for me to hang up on somebody. This kind of stuff. Every now and then I'm going to make my sister smile and make them happy because I'm going to be singing. You understand what I'm saying? Knowing I can't sing, then I'm a human alarm clock because my voice sucks when it comes to singing. You know, woo, yes, I will do that. You understand? I'm a Luther fan. I'm a Teddy Pendergrass fan. I'm an Isley Brother fan. Yeah, I'm one of those dudes. You understand? All of this comes with me. As Scott Greenstein knows, the boss here at Sirius XM, with the plethora of others who have been very, very supportive of me. Thank y'all so much for the love and support. Keep it coming. And I'm going to keep on coming, as they say. Again, the number to call up is 888 Mad Dog 6. That's 888-623-3646. Before I get back to the calls, let me touch on a couple of other items, all right? Number one, I just wanted to read some numbers to y'all because, see, y'all kind of need to understand this stuff. See, we're talking about Jerry Jones and the Cowboys, right? And I want to put in perspective for y'all the state of affairs involving the Dallas Cowboys. For the 19th straight year, the Dallas Cowboys are the NFL's most valuable team, worth $13 billion. $2.5 billion more than any other team, according to Forbes magazine estimates. That's up 29% from 2024 and double its valuation from just 4 years ago. And the Cowboys have new company in the $10 billion club with the Los Angeles Rams, now worth $10.5 billion. And the New York Giants, believe it or not, with their alarming level of ineptitude over the last decade or so, they're still worth about $10.1 billion. Being in the New York market obviously doesn't hurt them. All 32 NFL teams are worth at least $5 billion for the first time in history, with the Cincinnati Bengals setting the floor at $5.25 billion. Hear that, Mike Brown? You should be worth more with Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, and T. Higgins. Maybe it's something y'all doing, not the players. Anyway, back to the Cowboys. They're in a league of their own with estimated 2024 revenue of $1.2 billion, leading every other NFL team by at least $400 million. In fact, remove the roughly $440 million that every club received from the league office, from national media, sponsorship, and merchandise, as well as a pooled portion of league-wide ticket revenue, and Dallas still collected nearly $800 million in purely local revenue, more than the total revenue of every other team except the Las Vegas Raiders. Think about that. Think about that. Even more astonishing, the Cowboys posted operating income of $629 million last year, according to Forbes estimates, meaning Dallas made more in profit than 16 teams logged in revenue. That's the Dallas Cowboys we're talking about. So say what you will about Jerry. Say what you will about things that he could do better. Nobody's going to refute that. Nobody's going to argue with that. But it is what it is. The man's making money. He's worth $16 billion. His team is worth $13 billion. And it's at least $2.5 billion more than any NFL franchise or any sports franchise. Okay? So we got to remember that. Can't get away from that. And sticking with football, but transitioning back to the college game, don't think for one second I forgot how Arch Manning looked on Saturday against Ohio State. He was relatively neutralized. A lot of people point the finger at him. They'll point to the 2 starts that he had last year when he looked good, but they'll say it was against subpar competition and that he really didn't look great then, and he certainly didn't look good Saturday, especially for the first 3 quarters. He finished with about 170 yards passing, 17 for 30, a touchdown and an interception. I think the kid's got promise. Remember how bad Peyton Manning looked in his first year in the NFL? Remember how many bad moments Eli Manning has had? Still didn't have stopped him from having 4 Super Bowl championships between them. And by the way, unlike his uncles or his grandpa, Archie Manning can run. And so I think he's got a lot of potential. I think we'll see what he does. But I'm pointing the finger at Steve Sarkisian, who I'm a fan of, by the way. Head coach at Texas for the Texas Longhorns. You can't be that pedestrian. You can't be that safeguarded. You got to be a little bit risque and reckless. Ohio State, give them credit where credit is due because they came out there as the reigning defending national champions and defended their turf on the defensive side of the ball. This kid saying the quarterback looks like he's got some promise. We'll see what happens. C.J. Stroud for the Texans believes in this brother. I interviewed him last week as well. He believes in this kid. We'll see what happens. But it seems like the college football season is up for grabs. And we'll be talking more and more about that in the days and the weeks to come. No doubt about that. So I'm definitely cool with it. Let's give credit where credit is due. 888 Mad Dog 6 is the number code. It's 888-623-3646. Let's get back to the phones. Let's go to Vernon in Arizona. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Vernon?
Hey, Stephen. Can't tell you how excited we are to have you back on the Sports Network. It's like having Howard Stern for sports.
Okay.
My cousin graduated from Drexel, so like I said, a lot of history there and appreciation for what you bring to the industry, and you're raw and tell it like it is. I just set my alarm to hear you every morning now. So I can't tell you how excited we are to have you, and just wondering your opinion on Belichick's performance and what you see about him going forward.
It was horrible. I'm never going to accuse. I think that Bill Belichick has forgotten more football than most humans know. I think his legacy is solidified as one of the greatest coaches we've ever seen in our lifetime. And I think it's important that while we recognize that the greatness of Tom Brady is what facilitated some of the success he received, we need to be appreciative of the fact that even Tom Brady has admitted Tom Brady would not have been able to achieve what he achieved had it not been for Bill Belichick being his head coach. Because there's so much that Tom Brady didn't have to worry about because he had Bill Belichick. And one of the things that we got to remember about, Vernon, is that so many times we forget this when it comes to leadership. Leadership is imperative because most people aren't leaders, but they're vital. And their contributions are vital to the collective success of the whole. If they didn't lead, where would you be? When we think about Tom Brady, as great as he was as a quarterback, the reality is that he can't play defense for you. He can't play special teams for you. And when you look at the initial championships, the first championships that Tom Brady had won, it was because of New England's defense. It wasn't because of him. We got to remember all of these things and understand that it's to be appreciated what the great Bill Belichick has achieved in his career. But there does come a point in time where enough's enough. It's your time. And what I will say about Bill Belichick is that if Carolina continues to look the way that they looked last night when they were getting bum rushed, when they went 2 hours and 8 minutes without even completing a pass, when pick sixes were given up and fumbled returns for touchdowns were given up and all of this other stuff, and it was en route to a 48-14 drubbing that's witnessed Bill Belichick team give up more points than it ever has in his career. What we have to pay attention to is that this is college. It's not the NFL. It involves recruitment, and it also involves you having lesser talent, but being able to coach that and coach that up to be respectable. If Bill Belichick fails to do this, I think his career as a head coach will be over. But if it ends up being that way, I think we have to be nice enough and appreciative enough to recognize the fact that it still shouldn't taint him as an all-time great. Because most people on this planet could never have the career that he had. And that's what I think is important. Appreciate the call. Thank you so much. Let's go to Sam in Pennsylvania. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Sam? How are you?
Hey, my friend. I'm great. Hey, welcome back to the program, dude. We're glad to have you here on the station.
Glad to have you. Glad to be back.
I got a question now, and be honest with me. So Northwestern requested to wear, or I'm sorry, Tulane requested to wear white uniforms to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina, and Northwestern, if you could believe it, refused it. What are your thoughts on that? It's my first question.
That's trifling. If true, I heard about that after I got off television this morning. I did not know about that story until after I got off of television this morning, and I was trying to confirm if it was really, really true. If it were true, if that is true, that is trifling on a part of Northwestern. They should be ashamed of themselves. Considering the tragedy and the catastrophe that was Hurricane Katrina, the lives that were lost, and how it rallied the community down there in New Orleans and all its outskirts, and what that experience has meant towards galvanizing the people down there. You know, if it matters to them, it should matter. Some things transcend sports. You know, and to do and to refuse to oblige Tulane in that regard, they should be ashamed of themselves. And I hope this continues to elevate as a national story in our mind's eye, because we got to get back to articulating and showcasing the importance of class and decency. We're living in a world right now where we're always walking around acting like that's okay, and it's not okay. You know, there's decorum, there's decency, there's respect, there's an appreciation for things that transcend the game, that's bigger than the game. Nothing was going to prevent Northwestern from competing. Yeah, and serves them right that they got their ass kicked. But the point is that nothing was going to prevent you from going out there and competing. And to oblige Tulane by letting them wear that uniform, the colors that they wanted to wear, and to refuse to do so, it's sad. It's a sad statement against them, and they should be ashamed of themselves.
That's I'm going to leave you on this, my friend. Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. That's the Buddha. We're glad to have you here, man. Have a great day, brother. We love you, Steven.
You do the same. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. All right, let's go to Chris in South Carolina. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Chris? How are you?
Hey, how you doing, brother? Man, it's so glad to hear you back on the radio. I remember I used to listen to you on the ESPN podcast late at night at work. And listen to you on them 3 hours, man, and that used to get me through. But, hey, man, my name is Chris from South Carolina, Chris Bell from South Carolina, Luke off South Carolina. I'm FSU Chris, man. I'm telling you, them Seminoles, man, I believe with Gus Malzahn and the Gus Bus and Tony White from Nebraska.
See, that's your emotion. That's your emotion.
No.
I appreciate what you did against Alabama last year. I like this kid Castellanos. I do. I really like him, okay? I really do. Sawchuck and Dancy and the crew, I like him. But, however, y'all wore 2-10 last year. Could you put the brakes just a touch? You were 2-10 last year.
True. Come on, that is true. But everybody has a down year. Now, if you look at that defense,
everybody has a down year. Who's everybody?
I'm talking about
2-10. Hold it. FSU. Hold it.
Okay.
FSU, Chris.
Okay.
That's you, right?
Uh-huh.
You ain't got to give your life story again, right? Don't take up that much time next time. FSU, Chris is cool enough. I'll remember you. You gonna sit here and tell me that everybody go 2-10?
No,
2-10.
No, I'm not saying 2-10. I'm just saying every blue blood at some point has a down year.
I'm just saying 2-10 down year. That's what I'm saying. Don't act like that's normal. That's all I'm saying. Because you know how I feel, right? And I don't know if you know this about me, FSU, Chris, but I've been on the record. Norvell can coach, and he deserves a lot of props, no doubt about that. I wasn't mad that y'all weren't allowed to compete in the college football playoffs a couple of years ago before you went to the 12-team playoff, because I understood that once your quarterback went down, y'all wasn't going to be the same, and I didn't blame them for making that decision, even though your record says you didn't deserve that kind of treatment. It didn't bother me. But I've always been one to think that your university made a mistake by not giving primetime Deion Sanders the job. You do know that, right?
Yeah, I do think.
I've always felt
I do think that there was something behind that, but all that, he didn't have a degree or something that I don't know how that transpired. I wish he did get an interview if he was a official candidate for it. You know what I mean? To deserve an interview. I do believe that. But I know I ain't got much longer on the show, man. But I want to say this one thing about Florida State, okay? And give me one thing to say about Alabama. I think Florida State has found a defensive coordinator in Tony White, because we have not seen a defense like that at Florida State since Mickey Andrews was there. There's nobody has been in Florida State yet since the past three coaches that we had to show pressure on a team like that, run out of the 3-4. And
okay.
I still don't think.
Nope. I got to let you go because you're taking up too much time now. Now you're trying to make it your show instead of my show. It ain't going to happen. That ain't happening. So I appreciate the call. Call back tomorrow. We can have a discussion because I ain't going nowhere. I'll be here 5 days a week, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Stephen ain't going nowhere. Let's go to Corey in North Carolina. You're live at Stephen A. What's up, Corey? How are you?
What's going on, Stephen A? I'm going to tell you up front, I am a Cowboys fan. So
my condolences to you. Do you care about happiness? Let me ask you this question, Corey. Do you have a wife?
No. I have a girl.
You got kids?
Yes, I do.
You got kids, okay. So do you care about their happiness?
I do.
Then why the hell would you be a Cowboys fan? Why would you do that to yourself? Why?
It's been that way since Jimmy Johnson, and I've been sad since he left.
Do you see what I'm saying? That's my point. So in other words, Jimmy Johnson left at the 1993. So you on the airways admitting you've been sad for over 30 years.
Yeah, I've been sad.
You realize that, right?
30 years.
I mean, you don't want to change? You don't want to change?
I do.
Evolution hasn't kicked in. You don't recognize that this ain't good for you. I'm looking out for all Cowboy fans out there. Y'all do understand misery is y'all middle name, right? You will fall. Just be patient. I tell people all the time, just be patient. Just wait for it. It's coming.
When I watch you on First Take and you play that little reel that you play, I'm like, you know what?
Black cat running around that franchise. Say it with me. Accident waiting to happen. It's the truth.
At this point.
It's the truth.
It is the truth, but I do want to make my point real quick. I think one of the things that people don't realize is Jerry does things the old way, and that's what he did with Micah, and that's what makes it so sad. He did it the old way. He thought he had a handshake agreement, and he actually didn't. And it's sad, but it's true. At some point, you got to admit that you're the problem, and we won't be good until we do.
If I had a tissue, I'd wipe it, man. I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud. You ain't the typical Cowboy fan. You willing to admit. You understand where y'all faux pas exist. I'm very, very proud of you. There's hope for you after all. We going to hold that and go to break and come back because I got bills to pay. 888 Mad Dog 6 is the number. Call us. 888 Mad Dog 6. Mad Dog 6. Stephen A. Smith Show right here. When I come back, I'm going to please Mad Dog with something. Because, he's coming on about a half hour. I'm going to touch on a little baseball. We're talking baseball, the Duke and Campanella. No, I'm not saying that. But I'm going to come back with a little something. Don't go away. You're listening live to the debut of the Stephen A. Smith Show. Back with more in a minute.
Back to the Stephen A. Smith Show.
The race to baseball's postseason is heating up, and every inch is on Sirius XM, including home and away broadcasts for every team on the Sirius XM app. Tonight at 8 Eastern, Aaron Judge and the Yankees are in Houston to face Carlos Correa and the Astros. Hear the game in your car on Sirius XM, Channel 89. Your home for baseball talk all season long is MLB Network Radio, Sirius XM, Channel 89, and the Sirius XM app. Ladies and gentlemen, I got to confess something. Okay? Doggy is your baseball guy. You know me, I'm spending most of my time watching basketball and football games because of the shows that I do. I catch baseball when I can. Most of the time I can't. But I love my Yankees. And I root for the Mets against everyone but the Yankees. So let me get that out the way first. You know, I see Juan Soto doing his thing now, leading the team. You see how, Pete Alonso and the crew doing their thing. I get that. Lindor, we get that. Outside of their four guys, is wondering what the Mets are going to do, but I do like the fact that they got a couple of young pitchers, excluding that kid Tong as well, that showed up last week and did his thing. I get it. I understand it. All right? And the Mets could potentially make some noise, even though they're sixth in the wild card race. I mean, they're sixth in the sixth team in the playoff race. The last wild card spot, I don't know what kind of success they're going to have. The way the Padres have looked, the way the Dodgers have looked, the way the Milwaukee Brewers have been looking. So it's going and the Phillies as well, even though they had their way with the Phillies recently. I'm a Yankee fan. I'm a diehard Yankee fan. And I want to say this to all of the Yankee fans out there that, you're just hopeful or whatever. Yankees ain't going nowhere. I'm a diehard Yankee fan. I'm going to say it loud. I'm going to say it. Yankees ain't going nowhere. Because when you rely so much on the home run, and outside of that, you ain't doing much. When your MO is beating up on inferior teams, but you go up against the big boys and you fold, that's a problem. Now, I'm looking at the New York Yankees right now. Their record against top AL contenders this season, they're 1-2 against the Astros. They only faced each other 3 times, I think. They're 2-8 against the Red Sox. They're 3-7 against the Toronto Blue Jays. Yes, they're only 2.5 games back of the Toronto Blue Jays right now in the race for the AL East crown. But they got a 12-game gauntlet coming up against the Astros, the Blue Jays, the Detroit Tigers, and, of course, the Red Sox. And in the wild card race, they're just 1 game ahead of the Red Sox in the loss column, and we know how the Red Sox smacked them around recently. So I'm just not satisfied. Max Fried was supposed to be that dude. I mean, right now, you remember, he was a front runner to start for the All-Star game. And now he's become one of the worst qualified starters in baseball for July and the first half of August. So we got to call it like we see it. He's turned things around, off-speed, pitches changing stuff up, not relying so much on the fastball. But ultimately, bottom line is this. He's been shaky, to say the least. And I'm just looking at the Yankees. Don't get me started with runners in scoring position and what they do. I'm not sold. I have this ingrained belief from my dad, God rest his soul. You know what? Pitching is everything, and I get it, but you got to manufacture runs. And when you see the Yankees' defensive lapses, when you see some of the fundamental faux pas that they've committed, it's hard to imagine that Aaron Boone is going to be back next year. It's hard to imagine. I'm not calling for him to be fired. I'm not rooting for it or anything like that. But it's just hard to imagine. It's hard to imagine. So, again, I'm going to watch now that the playoffs are approaching. I'm going to watch it more intimately, more intensely, etc. I get all of that. But I'm just of the mindset. I'm just not sold. Fried, standout season, 145. Record with 306 ERA. Elite road ERA of 288, by the way. Coming off 2 stellar outings. Got to give credit where credit is due. Game 2 is going to be Will Warren. Going up against Jason Alexander. Game 3 against Christian Javier. I get it. Bronx bully reputation. Thriving against weak teams. That's the New York Yankees reputation right now. I'm just not sold. But I need to watch more before I'm more definitive about it. But I'm not sold in the games that I have watched them. I've watched them about 20 games this year. I just don't know. Let's go to Anthony in Los Angeles. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Anthony? How are you?
Hey, how you doing, Stephen?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
Good. Quick take. Hey, Detroit Tigers probably going to win it all. But quick take on my quarterback in Detroit, Goff. For all those haters out there about how he played bad in that championship game last year, remember who brought it in San Francisco. It wasn't Goff who dropped 3 crucial balls that would have turned the game, and it wasn't Goff who made bad calls like Dan Campbell. Although I love Dan Campbell, but Detroit Lions all the way. I like your support this year, and that's my only point. Take care, Steven.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Let's go to T Love in Philly. You're live with Stephen A. What's going on?
My man, Stephen A. What's happening?
What's up, man? Talk to me.
First of all, man, I want to thank you for the entertainment that you bring, man. My uncle, before he passed away, man, we used to discuss and bust it up with you about you every day, man.
Thank you.
So
man.
That was a big thing. You made him real happy. When I was a young man, they told me I sounded too ethnic when I went down to the Columbia School of Broadcasting to try to do what you do right now. So I'm glad you're carrying the torch to show that other brothers can do and make it in this business. Thank you.
There's a bunch of us that could do it. Thank you. Go ahead.
Let's talk about my man D. Woody. Dude, when you gonna take him to K&G somewhere and dress this man up?
No. You talking about Damien Woody?
Yeah.
Oh, he was sharp today, bro. Had on a nice suit. Had on a nice pinstripe suit today. I saw him this morning.
It was raggedy. I don't know.
It wasn't raggedy. No, that's not true.
Like
that's not true. It wasn't. It wasn't. I'm particular about cats. I mean, some dress wild or whatever, but you ain't gonna come on my show bumming. D. Woody looked good this morning. I'm not gonna let you get on my man like that. He looked sharp.
Long as he's not wearing the
Well, wait a minute. You don't get to talk about him like that, and we ain't see you dress. You ain't doing that. No. If you was on TV talking this, I could see you. But you on radio right now. I don't see how you dress. You're not doing that. You're not doing that.
Hey, listen, man. I laughed when you told my man that he needed a haircut.
Michael Irvin. You damn right he does. And I told him that again. And he's gonna get it too. You mark my words. He gonna shade it, trying to look like a Rastafarian. You ain't a St. Thomas. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. I gotta run though, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate the call. Let's go to Chad in California. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Chad? How are you?
Stephen A., welcome back, man. Been a long time. We're excited to have you back. First off,
excited to be back.
On Sark. Not enough people are holding the fire to Sark, man. I think the play calling inside the red zone was horrible for Arch. You got to get him outside of that pocket. But I
thought he was too conservative. I expected more from Sark because he's usually aggressive. I was very disappointed in him personally. I really, really was. So I get you there.
Yeah, especially when you got a quarterback like Arch that can get out the pocket, make the tight end come across the middle, make the defender make a decision.
You got to get him out. Listen, he got legs for a reason, and he could throw out the pocket. You got to get him out of the pocket, create some movement, make a defense run, try to wear them down, do what you got to do. I thought he was very pedestrian. I didn't too conservative. I didn't like how Sark called that game. I really didn't.
That's right. And on my Seminoles, man, to back up my guy that just called, I think Alabama, they're headed in the wrong direction. They didn't have their star running back. Jam Miller wasn't out there. But I will say this about Florida State. We went 2-10 last year. But, Stephen A., this ain't the 90s, man. The transfer portal is like free agency. You can turn a program around in a year now. You know what I mean? And he made a great point with 2 coordinators.
I think they're good, but you can – listen, hold on. I think they're good, but you can't have it both ways. I'm not taking anything away from Florida State. I'm saying the real story is the drop-off from the Nick Saban era to the Kalen DeBoer era. That's what I'm saying.
No doubt. No doubt. But at the same time, you're talking about a program who went undefeated, won the Power 5 conference, and didn't make it. That's a gut punch to a program. It took a year to kind of get over that. And should it?
I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. You can't go. You can't go from my man. You cannot go from an undefeated season to going 2-10. 2-10. Can't do that. Now, if they have going 7-5 or something like that, I get you. If they're going 6-6, something like that, I get you. Not 2-10. Come on, bro. Can't do that. Can't do that. Not getting away with that. Sorry. Appreciate the call, man. Let's go to Pat in Buffalo. You're live with Stephen A. How you doing, Pat?
Good, Stephen A. Thanks for taking my call, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
I got to get on my Bills, man. If you
Buffalo
talk
Bills?
to any Buffalo
Bills?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
If you talk to any Buffalo Bills fan and they tell you that they're not nervous about this game on Sunday, they're lying to you. And I'm going to tell you why. It's because of our secondary. I'm nervous about our secondary, and I know, everybody knows, the whole world knows darn well that we were lucky last year. Thank you for dropping that ball. Because if they didn't drop that ball, Bills weren't winning that game in the playoff and weren't going to the AFC Championship.
Well, hold on. Here's the issue, Pat. I don't disagree with you. But damn it, that was the Ravens they were playing. The Ravens right now should legitimately be the favorites to win the Super Bowl championship. Look at the weapons they have. Everywhere you turn. Look at the greatness of Lamar Jackson. Look at their defense. Look at Derrick Henry. Look at their ability to run the football, to protect the quarterback. Look at Bateman. You understand? Look at Zay Flowers. Look at these cats now. I mean, you can't just summarily dismiss Baltimore. Baltimore should legitimately be the favorites. And in case of Buffalo, they had the 24th ranked defense against the pass. I get that part. And we're expecting to see some things this year. We'll see what happens with Buffalo. But in the end, it comes down to Josh Allen. We know what a study is and what level of help he's going to get. I think retaining James Cook was a huge plus, no doubt about that. But you're going to have Keon Coleman and others going to have to step up and really, really show you that they're ready to take the bull by the horn and help Josh Allen produce. Because this is the one thing we're going to say about Josh Allen here, Pat. We've never looked at a playoff game and said it's his fault. He shows up. He shows up.
100%. That I wasn't talking bad about the Ravens. I knew that was the game that I was talking about. The Ravens would have won that game and gone to the AFC Championship game if that wasn't that drop ball there at the end of that game by Andrews. If he didn't drop that ball, they're probably winning that game.
Totally true. But what I'm saying is it's because the Ravens are that good, not because the Buffalo Bills are awful.
100%.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay. All right. We're on the same page. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm about to make up there, Stephen. Thanks for taking my
Appreciate the call, man. Thank you so much. Vinny in Florida, you're live with Stephen A. What's up, Vinny? How are you?
Hey, Stephen A. Welcome back, man. Hey, look, my question real quick is, I know you've been talking about Jerry Jones and everything, but I'm a New York Knicks fan, man. I'm 42 years old. Am I going to see my Knicks win a championship? What's going on with James Dolan?
I don't think you're going to see them win the championship. But are you ready for this, Vinny? Are you ready?
Oh, man, don't tell me that.
Are you ready? I think the Knicks going to the finals. I think the New York Knicks going to the finals. Hold it.
Even with Jordan Parsons.
Hold on. Giannis doesn't have Lillard anymore. Jason Tatum is out for the year. Okay? Cleveland wet the bed in the postseason. No reason to believe that can't happen again. All right? Orlando's on a come up. Big pickup with Desmond Bane, but not necessarily ready yet. I'm just looking at certain things in the Eastern Conference, and I think the dominoes are falling in favor of the New York Knicks representing the Eastern Conference in the NBA Finals. And I like Mike Brown as a coach. I'm going to miss Thibodeau because he's a hell of a coach. But I think what Thibodeau brought defensively, Mike Brown will bring offensively. I think the acquisition of Clarkson helps, and I think that the Knicks are going to be playing at a better pace. And I think that's going to help them immensely. And they're going to use more of their depth.
I love it.
Right?
I really hope so because the New York Knicks make us suffer, and it's frustrating and stressful. But even though they've been through the hard times, but we're still there. Us Knicks fans, we're too different.
I got you. I appreciate the call, man. Thank you so much. Let's go to John in Minnesota. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, John?
Hey, Stephen. I'm a Philly guy. I live in Minnesota now, but here's my question. Read you from a long time ago. My son absolutely adores you. I love your mastery of the English language. He watches First Take. He gets such a kick out of you. And he always asks me, Daddy, what does that word mean? What does that word mean? He looks up to you. Here's my question, because he's starting to ask me he's 9 years old. He asks me questions, Daddy, who's your role model? Who was your role model when you were my age? And who do you look up to? And I told him it was Pete Rose, and it was a guy down the street that put 5 kids through college on a medium salary. And, as I try to teach my kid about life and sports, and he's getting into everything, but I would love to be able to, when I pick him up from school in a couple hours, I'm going to tell him I talked to you, which is an honor. But I'd also like to tell him, who was your role model, or who is your role model in sports, but then also who's your role model in life?
My role model in sports was a guy like Muhammad Ali because of the adversity he faced while achieving the success that and ultimately achieving the success that he achieved because he was willing to battle all naysayers or what have you. And I think that, true success is achievement through trials and tribulations as opposed to the road being paved significantly easy for you. Because I think real life is the former, not the latter. That was my role model in sports. My role model in life was my mom, who passed away in 2017, God rest her soul. She's the greatest human being I've ever known. She had a heart of gold. She could be demanding. And for the first 45 years of my life, my mother passed away when I was 49. For the first 45 years of my life, I must have heard my mother tell me she loves me 3 times. But I knew it every day because everything she did was to benefit me out of love for me. And my mother was unwavering, and no matter what obstacles were placed in her way, she was tireless in her pursuit to make sure that she was a protector and a provider for me and my sisters. And because of that, and the trials and tribulations she had to overcome en route to doing those things, she's the greatest human being I've ever known. And I've never met any human being that has made me feel like they are worthy of my just admiration and my unwavering commitment to them as much as my mother made me feel for her. So what I would say to you with your son, be his hero. Be somebody that no matter what you ask of him, no matter what you insist on him doing, no matter what the circumstances are, that he always looks at you and he knows that the only reason you're doing it is because you believe that's what's best for him, because you love him that much. And when your son can look at you and know that that's the agenda behind the things that you do for him, what you demand of him, etc., he will have the greatest hero he could ever possibly have, because there's nobody on the planet who's going to be able to convince him that he is loved by them more than he is loved by his daddy. That is my answer to your question.
Well, I really appreciate that. Yeah. This is a big day for you. Congratulations. And I'll pass on the message. Thank you.
All right. And be safe out there. Minnesota, there's always something going on there these days. Be safe out there. 888 Mad Dog 6 is the number. Call up this 888 Mad Dog 6 888 I'm really enjoying myself. 888-623-3646. Last segment of the debut of the Stephen A. Smith Show coming up next. Don't go away.
Back to the Stephen A. Smith Show on Mad Dog Sports Radio.
Tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern. Don't miss Let's Go! As Jim Gray is joined by North Carolina head coach Bill Belichick, Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni, and Chiefs head coach Andy Reid, plus Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford, Raiders star Max Crosby, and Peter King, the great Peter King, formerly of Sports Illustrated. Preview week 1 of the NFL season on NFL Radio Channel 88. And you can get the extended version on the Sirius XM app. 888 Mad Dog 6 is the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646. Let's get back to the phones real quick. Let's go to Andrew in Florida. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Andrew?
Stephen A., it's a privilege to speak to you, especially on your first show. I've loved you since Weezy put you in the Kobe song, my man. I'll get to my point very quickly.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah. Your assessment of the Yankees is spot on. You didn't have to watch 20 games to know. I've watched all season. It's a terrible, terrible plight the Yankees are going through. I mean, they're not scary anymore. They beat up on bullies, and Aaron Boone thinks he's phenomenal. But the whole team, the whole front office, the whole management is married to the archaic analytics, and you got to have passion. You have to have instincts and heart, and they don't have it.
Hold on. Andrew, are you ready for this? I got to tell you this, and I can't wait to hear your response to this. I think that's why Juan Soto left. I think it was a combination of the environment, how rigid it might be compared to the sort of freewheeling persona that the Mets give off. And I think Juan Soto believes in the Francisco Lindors and the Pete Alonsos more than he believes in Aaron Judge, because as great as Aaron Judge is during the regular season, continuously being an AL MVP candidate, he's clearly not that guy come postseason time. All right, and I think and what about, listen, Volpe? I know he hasn't been having the greatest year and what have you. Hit a home run the other day, but when I saw that man throw the ball into the stands over the first baseman's head over a week ago, I was so appalled. I turned the TV off.
Yeah. Well, the GM decisions, I mean, Cashman, I think he's at the end of the rope, too, as far as it goes with his decision-making. I mean, you know, and you've got infielders like Caballero playing right field. I just scratch my head, Stephen A. And Juan Soto left because a lot of players, I'm sorry, they don't respect Aaron Boone. Plain and simple.
Right.
That's my thought.
Man, thank you so much, man. I appreciate the call. I really, really do. Let's go to Steven in Florida. Beautiful name, Steven. Beautiful name. What's going on?
Well, my name is spelled Steven.
It don't matter. You ain't got to get it with phonetics and all of that. You ain't got to get into the spelling. It sounds the same, does it not?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Then roll with that, brother. We on radio. We ain't in English class. Go ahead.
Well, I will tell you that I'm gonna call you back during basketball season because I'm a Warriors fan. You know, the best player on that team also is Steve Hill. He pronounces it different. But we'll deal with that. We'll deal with that with basketball season.
The greatest shooter God has ever created. Yes, that guy.
Okay. Yes, he does. Look, don't get me preaching about. Hey, I'm a deacon now. Don't get me start preaching now. But
okay, I got you.
But you mentioned the three teams in the AFC West. You mentioned Kansas City, Denver, and I want to say San Diego, but I can't. I know they're LA now. And I'm a lifelong Raiders fan. I mean, I'm 66 years old, and probably since I was old enough to know what football was, I've been a Raiders fan.
Hold it, sir. You've been on this air for 2 minutes, and it took you that damn long to get to the Raiders. You called here to get to the Raiders like they gonna do something this year. Is that what you're doing? Is that what you're doing?
I think better than people think. I'm going to just say it like that.
Well, what does that mean? Hold on. What does that mean? Does that mean they knocking off Kansas City and AFC West? No. Are they going to be better than Denver?
Look, I'm a
You ain't even sure about that, sir. Are you a deacon or a pastor, by the way? A deacon or pastor?
I'm a deacon, sir.
Hey, deacon, come on, man. You can't even say they're going to be better than Denver.
But I'm a lifelong fan nonetheless. Whatever we do. Hey, I
appreciate that. But you being a fan don't mean they're going to be better than Denver. Bo Nix and them brothers got something, and that defense is real in Denver. That defense is real now. I don't know if the Raiders going to be better than them. I'm not sure. So we talking possibly third place. And then you got Jim Harbaugh and Herbert in L.A. I don't know. I'm just saying. Appreciate the call, man. Thank you. And feel free to call back. Let's go to... what is it, PJ in Colorado? You're live with Stephen A. I'm getting calls from all over the country here. I'm honored. What's going on, PJ? How are you? Are you there, PJ?
Oh, it's PJ I'm in Denver, Colorado.
Go ahead, bro. How are you? How's everything?
Good, man. Congratulations on the new show.
Thank you, sir.
Love it. Wanted to ask you, Stephen A., guess what? We got Luka in shape, and we get a center. We get Marcus Smart, point of attack. Tell me your honest take on where do you see the Lakers? Where do you see?
Well, I think I wasn't talking about NBA, and I'll get into more of that as the season progresses, as the season starts and progresses. But I do have the Lakers as a title contender. But I don't even have them top 3 in the Western Conference. I'm thinking about Oklahoma City. Obviously, they're the big dogs. I think the Dallas Mavericks, assuming Anthony Davis is healthy and Kyrie comes back, they can win it all. I got them, and I'm not sleeping on the Houston Rockets. They got Kevin Durant now. They got Kevin Durant. With Ime Udoka coaching them, you got a bona fide number 1 option that could drop 27 in his sleep. Houston got a chance to win it all. With Ime Udoka coaching them, who is one of the great coaches in the game, absolutely. But a healthy Luka, LeBron is never going to disappoint you. He's going to be in shape, and he's going to be ready to play, and he's good for 25 a night. So definitely LeBron and Luka. DeAndre Ayton is too damn moody to trust. Even though he could play, he's too damn moody to trust. And you go from Phoenix to Portland, and they couldn't give him away for a box of cookies. They were happy to get his ass up out of there and get him to L.A. So you got that going on. And even though I love Marcus Smart, he's a bit older, been through some injuries. I got belief in him and his toughness, and I think he's going to help Bronny and others elevate their level of play. So I'm not sleeping on the Lakers. I just think those other 3 teams are better right now. I got to go, though, but call me back tomorrow if you want to. Thanks a lot. Kevin in Texas, you're live with Stephen A. What's up, Kevin? How are you?
Hey, what's going on, Steven? Welcome back to the channel. I got 2 quick things. I know you got to get out here. That whole thing with Arch, man, he's going to be fine. All credit goes to Matt Patricia in that secondary. The false looks and false fronts that he put in, the pre-snap stuff, is all credit goes to Matt Patricia and Sark's subpar, below subpar.
That's where I was going. Is that your way of saying? Is that your way of saying it was about Sark getting out-coached by Matt Patricia?
He 100% got out-coached. That's what it boils down to. But I think, plus you starting your first road game in the shoe when that environment, that's a big plus. Ohio, they lost to Michigan last year, the defending national champion.
Let me interrupt, Kevin. Kevin, I got to go. Let me interrupt. It's not that they lost. Is that you only scored 7 points. That's the issue. You got to remember that. It's not about wins or losses or whatever. It's just that you got to show a pulse. You got to show a pulse. And Archman and Bailey showed that. So it was not a good day, a good game for him or whatever. But I'm with you. I believe in him. And I'm not going to overreact to that because I believe it was more about Sarkisian than him. So you're right about that. Adam in Houston, you're live with Stephen A. Talk to me, Adam. How are you?
Stephen A., glad to have you aboard, man.
Thank you. What's up?
Hey, I got something. I'm so happy to have you here now because I'm gonna try to see if I can employ your services. Because I know you got a big mouth.
I got enough damn jobs
when you talk.
I got enough damn jobs.
When you speak, Leon Rose listens, and I'm gonna tell you right now. Magic Johnson hit on this a couple months ago. What was the one thing that you think that was really missing from the Knicks in their playoff run?
As far as I was concerned, depth.
Okay, well, I'm gonna point out something that not too many people besides Magic pointed out. They have no team speed, and it's a problem. Gershon and Clarkson doesn't solve that problem. I'm sorry, and you're gonna need to get some speed out there to OKC. Forget about it. Track me.
You don't need. Hold on. Wait a minute. OKC could play at a slower pace now. You could slow them down, and they struggle offensively. It's just that their defense is so elite that would have been a matchup nightmare for the New York Knicks. Had they gone up against OKC, they had got swept as far as I'm concerned because that would have been a matchup nightmare. But you don't have to be fast. You just have to be faster than the pace the Knicks played at. That's the difference, and that's what you have to be careful of. If you're faster and you utilize depth, that could help the Knicks immensely. And that's what we can't ignore. I gotta get to other callers, so I get on out of here. But I appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot. Let's go to Victor in West Palm Beach. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Victor?
Stephen A., how you doing, my man?
Talk to me, bro.
I gotta tell you just a couple quick things. First of all, I think you're a heck of a human being. Your backbone and the character you show, especially who you work for on the other side, and showing up on Sean Hannity, showing this and that. I just have a ton of respect for your bravado and everything about you, man. You're a cool dude.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Second, real quick, I am a Cowboys fan, and hearing I got to tell you, Stephen A. I mean, I didn't jump on this bandwagon around Jimmy Johnson. Just tell you a quick story. St. Louis Cardinals. I'm born and raised in St. Louis.
I got to interrupt you. Because you only got 30 seconds, and you ain't going to get to your show in 30 seconds. You ain't going to get to your story in 30 seconds. So I'll let you tell it tomorrow when you call back. But you ain't going to have time to tell that story right now. See, you got to get to your point. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a lesson to be learned. When you come on the Stephen A. Smith Show, line's always full. You got to kid in, you got to make your points, and you got to get out quickly. You got to remember that on the Stephen A. Smith Show. And this is not me hanging up on him. I ain't hang up. I'm just saying running out of time. Music's playing for a reason. You understand? The debut of the Stephen A. Smith Show. I enjoyed it. I hope y'all did too. This is the first of many. I'll be back. Until then, peace and love, everybody.